Welcome to the Okie Woodsman channel. Today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to clean and cook on the Wolfe smokeless fire ring. I have never cooked on this thing, but first I need to go ahead and get the ashes out of it. I have about 30 hours of burning in it. I probably should have cleaned it out before this, but I just wanted to build up a whole bunch so I could show you just how easy it is to clean out. Now we have had rain, and so this is wet and nasty in here, but the cool thing is all we got to do is tilt it up, and I'm going to shovel this out of here. If you get lazy like this on a traditional fire ring, you're going to have a rusty mess. And that $100, $200 you paid for it from a big box store, it'll be gone. So because it rained, this did kind of create some mud. And so I'm going to go ahead and just scrape that out of here. And I have a beautifully groomed fire pit location here, so I don't want to just pick it up and move it, right? I want the fire pit to always be here. 3 shovels worth is going to be good. As you can see, it's very wet. Had this had a bottom in it, this would have been a nightmare. Because the ground is wet, I'm going to put a little piece of oak down in here, like a little shingle, so I can start my fire on top of that. We're just going to use some of the wood wool that I produce sometimes just for fun, for video content, but I also like using it for fire starter. Used to make chicken bedding out of it, but since we don't have chickens anymore, I don't need to use it for that either. I'm going to put these right next to it, kind of shield this. We should be able to light this up with one match. See if it works. Very possible this won't light off. I should have put some smaller kindling in there, but we'll just see what happens. All right, I should have done it better. Who else gets excited and thinks they're gonna light it like that and then they don't? All right, here. Oh, I may have crinkled that wood wool up a little too much, honestly. If I separated it, it'd probably be okay. There it is. I should have just grabbed some smaller pieces. So the important thing with a smokeless fire pit is to create a good hot fire, because that's when it becomes smokeless. What I'm going to do is just let another camera roll so you can see a time lapse of this fire getting started. And then my goal is just to make a bed of hot coals, and I'll throw a little bit of wood in it here and there because this is going to be for dinner and we are just about midday right now. So we're not going to cook on this just yet, but I think the results are going to be fantastic. Now, mind you, I am not a chef. I am not a big grill guy. I've cooked on charcoal grills in the past, but because we are just beginning to get into the wood industry more than just at a leisure pace, why not begin to use some seasoned oak to cook on? I don't have a smoker. I do have a charcoal grill, but I don't have all the stuff to utilize a charcoal grill. But what I do have is this Wolfe smokeless fire pit. And I think once we create a hot bed of coals, we can go ahead and put the grill attachment on there, heat that sucker up, and I think we'll be able to get a nice sear on our KC strip steaks for later on tonight. Now that we have this fire started, I'm gonna go work on a steel MS250 restoration that I'm doing. I'm trying to get 2 saws working for a friend of mine. If you're interested in that, make sure you check out my other videos. Hey, Lucky. Hey, buddy. They sure like this little ring of wood here, I'll tell you that. Hey, Lucky. He's quickly become one of my wife's favorites. Do you guys have any favorite woods that you like to cook over? Let me know in the comment section. Actually, maybe a better question is, do you have any woods that you would prefer not to cook over because it's gross, dangerous, or whatever? I don't even know if that exists, but again, also leave that in the comment section too. Now, this is not hot enough to create a smokeless experience, especially with a 30-inch ring like this, okay? So the bigger the ring, the more heat and the bigger the fire needs to be in order to create that reburn. However, the point of this video is to see if this works as well as I think it will. What we're doing is we're building a hotbed of coals to cook our steaks on. We're not going to cook over fire per se. We're going to cook over a hotbed of coals.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not utilizing any instructions or anything like that, but I just wanted to go ahead and cook off any of the sap or anything that's on that grill. Now, when I cook these steaks, I'm going to have a hot griddle. I will remove the actual flaming oak at that point or spread it out because I want to cook on a good hot surface, but we'll see how it goes. I don't cook really much anything, to be honest with you, so I'm just giving this a shot. I've always wanted to do this, and I think it will just taste delicious. We're grilling 3 strip steaks, and I'm gonna go ahead and grill up a few hamburger patties as well for one of my other sons. He's not a big steak person. He's got hardware in his mouth, and so steak doesn't play well with him, but I'm so excited to try this out. My wife ought to be here shortly. Make sure you leave comments below about tips and tricks for doing something like I am. We have our 3 strip steaks here. I just seasoned them with salt and pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the hamburgers on the grill just to kind of test and see how hot it is. These are from the local meat market, and so I wanted to go ahead and try these out. They said that these are designed to cook right from frozen. I think it would be really neat to have at least 2 of these, build a nice, good hotbed of coals, and then you could cook a lot more than just this right here. Now with the strip steaks, I believe that I'm gonna be fine with putting 3 on here. I can probably line them up like this, and I think we'll have good results. But for a family of 4, I think 2 would work out really nicely. In the past, we had been doing more of a carnivore type diet. You know, it gets a little bit old cooking everything inside in the oven or on the cooktop. So that's why our meal is gonna look fairly slim, is because the meat has helped. Now, we've been off of it for a long time and I've gained a ton of weight back. I'm wanting to get back on more of a carnivore type diet by having primarily fatty steak and meat. Now, what's happened for me is when I was strict on it before, my appetite went way down, and I loved, you know, I could have 6 to 8 ounces of steak and I was good. And that's all I would eat. Okay, we were at like 155, 160. So these are gonna be considered done. I'm gonna go ahead and set these inside.
Little thing to pick up the steaks. They're also a little black.
We're gonna go ahead and throw these Kansas City strip steaks on this grill. Let's get going. All right, so we're at 65 degrees, 67, 67, 68. I feel like what I ought to have done is I ought to have had more hot coals. What I did is I started this fire earlier and I just had it going just so I would have, I didn't want to have too much hot coals. That's just the reality of it. But again, what I did is I skimped out and I probably should have had more in the whole bed of the deal, and then I could have raked it up to get it hotter or whatever. And so this is just my first shot, so we're gonna see how this goes, but it's still a lot of fun anyway, and I think it's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna check with the thermometer. I'm not one that just knows how to touch on the middle of the steak to know how far it's done. After a full day of burning, this would be so cool, man, to pull some steaks out of a cooler. You've got a good set of hot coals, throw this on here and get going. I think it's gonna be good. Big test is gonna be whether or not my wife thinks it's good.
No.
Oh yeah, they're hot.
I'm just gonna have, that's gonna be Dad's.
Yeah, this is Dad's.
Thank you for bringing my wife home safely and that we're all together. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so I already know that these are gonna be a little well done here. They're gonna be way, way well done. Barely a little bit of pink in there, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna test the flavor. Ooh, nice crust, I like it. Good flavor, for sure.
Let's see.
We're gonna go ahead and enjoy this meal, so thank you for watching. This is a little bit of a different video. We'll see you on the next one. So this was a first experience. We haven't enjoyed cooking steak at home very often, but I can tell you this. This was excellent considering I botched a couple things. A little bit too much salt for how thick those steaks were. And I cooked on the one side way too long because, well, I simply didn't know what I was doing. I needed to put that thermometer in deeper, and what that would have done is that I would have gotten a good idea that that the steak was actually hot on the other side. What I was doing was just kind of barely poking it under the skin of the uncooked side, so it was saying 85 degrees, but the other side was cooking, cooking, cooking. So I made an error there. I will not ever do that again, I'm pretty sure. But I will say this, my wife liked it. So she was really thrilled. All this delicious juice right here was just really good. This boy right here liked it as well.
It was way too good.
It was way too good. And then that one over there is eating his hamburger patties, and he's enjoying those. So I just wanted to give you an update. We did eat it all. None of it went to waste. And we're looking forward to making this better in the future. Have a good one.